Now, the pathway is to keep on surrendering. So what does this mean? So breaking it down. I think the important word first to look at is surrender. So it's important to think about what it means, what we're surrendering to. So this doesn't mean you're surrendering your will to someone else's will. It doesn't mean you're surrendering the war. You're losing the war. You're surrendering and losing. This is a deep spiritual term that means you're surrendering your life to the highest purpose, to God if you have a relationship with God, or to Jesus if your relationships with Jesus, or to the greater force of life, or to the universe, and to this higher, that feeling when you have a spiritual experience, when it feels right and you feel like you're guided to go in the right direction. It's that sense of surrendering to God, to give your life to the highest purpose, and to make your decisions from there. And people who do that are the people who in the past we've called saints, or we've become our heroes, like Gandhi or Mother Teresa or Nelson Mandela, people who are surrendered their life to their big meaningful purpose or cause, right? And there's a risk and a challenge to it for sure, because you're what God will lead you to do will most likely be challenging a lot of the norms of our society and of our culture and of our global economic system, because that's what life really needs right now. So there's a risk and a challenge, but there's also a really huge reward in this. So the pathway is to keep on surrendering. So what does that mean? Step by step. Step by step, choice by choice. The pathway is to keep on surrendering to that beautiful, still, small voice. So when people are on a spiritual path, sometimes they get confused, like, oh, should I follow this spiritual path or this spiritual path? I was with the such and such spiritual people, and that didn't quite feel right, so then I switched to the other spiritual people, or I went to this eco-village, I didn't feel quite like I fit in, so I went to the other eco-village. They're constantly searching, these spiritual seekers, looking for the way, trying different things, almost looking with their mind a bit on their way that they should be spiritual. And having a destination in mind and feeling a bit like enlightenment or nirvana, and then being a bit disappointed that they're wondering why they're not there yet, or are they making progress, or that kind of thing. So what this keep on surrendering step by step means is that first you sort of first you have the orientation that my life is to give. I want to give. I surrender my life to serve the greatest purpose of humanity and all of life. That's where you start. And then if you don't know, and so then you just and you use that as sort of your prayer. Say, like, how may I serve? How best can I serve? May I serve? Dear God, let's do this together. Help me find the best way to serve. Find my best way to serve and be my full self. And then to navigate your path, you go inside and use your intuition and feel what's my next step, what's alive, what's drawing my attention, or what do I deeply desire to create, and let images come up to you from your soul place and not from your head space. So if I really deeply want to serve life, what do I deeply desire? What can I imagine myself doing and serving and creating and expressing? and let those visions just come to you as opposed to trying to make a decision or trying to think of what the best thing should be. And so, for example, for me with this, then what, when I think about my life, what's the best thing I should do for to make a sustainable world in my lifetime? I think, okay, well, I should do a strategic process, and I should convene all the stakeholders, and I should make sure we have a plan to, mitigate carbon reductions and make a measurement system. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. That's what I should do with my life, and I am. But then when I went on this spiritual journey and felt totally connected with the universe and felt my mission being really clear, it was, you need to help people sing songs to create the new culture. I was like, what? I'm not even a singer. I'm an artist. This makes no sense at all. I would have never thought that this was my mission. But then just by following my intuition and that path step by step, that's where I ended up, and that was really clear and beautiful experience. I really followed my intuition to go on that spiritual journey to Pachamama. I wouldn't have chose to do that spiritual journey, but just the circumstances all led to that, and I just decided to use my intuition at each step and said, yeah, okay, this is the next step. And then got to this major breakthrough through that, and then these songs started flowing, and then this mission become clear in my intuition. Yep, we have to build a new culture. Your gift is being a clear channel to spirit, and helping other people to achieve a clear channel to spirit. And the songs are really important right now. We need to convene singers, teach them how to channel spirit through their songs, and get those songs out and start changing and start building culture that way, and changing culture through music and songs. And when I think back over it, I can think, okay, well, I guess that makes pretty good sense, because over the centuries, that's how religion and spirituality has formed cultures, through stories and songs. And so, okay, I thought, all right, well, and that makes sense. Even if it doesn't make sense, I'm going to take the next step, because it's coming to me through my intuition of the intention of serving life. And that's going to lead me to my most, when you live from that place, other people are naturally, when you show up from that place, other people naturally start to say yes, and naturally start to want to support you, and they can, because they sense and feel that spiritual and evolutionary force in you, and the passion that starts to arise from you is contagious and attractive, and everything starts to flow, and people want to work with you and support you, and that's when people start to feel like life has really got their back. And so keep on surrendering. And one of the important distinctions I made in my spiritual journey, at one point I said, it used to be like never surrender, and now it's like always surrender. But that wasn't quite right either. It's not like always surrender. It's not like never have a backbone, never always do what someone else tells you, always be deferred and humble. That's not it. It's not always surrender. Sometimes sometimes your path will be to take a very strong stand, to really say no to things that need to be said no to really put strong limits and boundaries in place, and to be very strong, not surrendering to someone else's will. But what you're keeping on surrendering to is letting the force of life and God guide you as you take each step, to know that yes, this is important right now. Here's where I need to be a warrior for this. So that's the distinctions between, it's not always surrender. It's not surrender yourself. It's keep on surrendering. The path is to keep on, I was walking in the dark, and it was like you have to take a little step and feel what's right. And then when you take a little step off and you just sort of feel it's a bit wrong, and you feel the fear of that, and center yourself and go back and find the right path again. Take these slow steps. It's like walking through the dark and finding your path. The light just you can just see what's in front of you, and you just take your steps and feel into it, and take the next step and feel into it, and take the next step and sense into it. And that's the way. And then you will sort of look back and find yourself that you've taken a really extraordinary journey, something that you could be beyond your wildest dreams. I haven't quite experienced that yet, but it is. I keep having these really amazing experiences through this, so I trust. So I really trust that if I keep using my intuition and then really committing to that, and then really doing the actions that are coming up from my intuition, even though they are scary or even though they don't make complete sense at first, that I through experience time and time again, I can see that, yep, that was the way, that intuition was right. So learning to trust that is a really challenging thing to do. It takes a lot of courage and practice and support of friends. And I really appreciate some of my friends from different courses I've taken that we keep meeting and help me keep reflecting and seeing that. Yeah, so keep on surrendering the pathway.